a dispute lens says winner or loser, right? So somebody has to lose out of this, and it often results in the wrong person leaving the organisation. Wouldn't it be great if we could get to a space where we could raise things in, I call them when they're small. So they're small issues, they're not massive. Smaller issues are much easier to resolve informally. And having that, what we're seeing a pattern of now is that the complaints that tend to hit HR in the end are not always, but often quite severe. Like they've been going on for months. They are chronic situations. From a psychological contract point of view, there's been probably almost irreparable damage done. It's, you've missed so many opportunities to intervene when the issue was small. And that's part of, you touched on fear of negative consequences. I mean, the reality is people don't feel comfortable going to HR with issues. And there's good reason for that, unfortunately. The evidence tells us that if you go to HR with an issue, a complaint, or to talk about somebody's behaviour, you feel like you're being bullied, overworked, micromanaged, whatever the case may be, if you go to HR, they're often responsible for either enacting, condoning, or advising people to execute on a whole bunch of adverse actions that we see happen. So, and I mean adverse actions in the true sense of under general protections, adverse actions occurring, but also then in terms of just general negative consequences. So, if we look at the research on post-voice victimization in organizations, so that's where somebody has raised a concern and they've studied, what was the response to that. Unfortunately, HR is in the thick of it for further victimizing the person who's just brought something of concern to the table. So, the negative response of it's victim blaming. Well, you sure it isn't just you? You sure it isn't your behavior? Like, that sort of antagonistic take. Responding by putting the person on a performance management plan, or withholding training, or withholding a promotion, or all these other work-related levers that tend to get pulled by HR. So, if it's not pulled by HR has advised a manager somewhere, yep, this is a completely legitimate response. A person's raised a concern about your competence as a manager, or that you're micromanaging or behaving poorly towards them. Yep, totally appropriate response, put them on a performance improvement plan. And ultimately, let's just wheedle them out of the organisation. So, like I said, I think when people say, HR is not your friend, I agree with them in many respects.